Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS, presented by Fisherman's Marine and Outdoor. Now it's time for your weekend tech tip, brought to you by Chevy Silverado.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, before we get into our Chevy Silverado tech tip of the week, we've got Clayton from Lebanon on. He's quickly got a question about green Peter. We'll do what we can to help him. Clayton, what's going on, bud?
Yeah, I was just wondering, the devastation of green Peter last year, are they still going to do it again this year?
I didn't catch the first part, Clayton. Are they still going to do what?
Drain it.
Yes, sir. It is slated for when Ryan is back there. He's a magician on the old machine back there. It looks like they're going to do their drawdown is scheduled for this upcoming month in November. So they are planning on dropping green Peter again, just like they have in recent years. The only report that I would have as far as fishing prior, or at least up to this point, sporadic at best, but they are planning on doing their drawdown here in just, I want to say the first week in November or very, very close to that. So Clayton, make sure you just kind of keep that in mind when you do head over towards green Peter. Okay, everyone. So I don't do a lot of these things. Each year I get questions about bags and, you know, what I like to carry. It's pretty, I don't know why in the end, but at the very least, it works out perfect because that question just recently came in, and I actually wore one of these bags out. I had it for about 5 years. This is the Flight Series go-to bag from Tangle Free. Now, I already mentioned Tangle Free this past week, and I don't have any association with them, but they just make stuff that I really like and that work for me. We were talking about decoys last week, but this blind bag for me is perfect, and it's new. So I got to get it kind of broken in and make sure that everything's going to be the way it's supposed to be. The one thing I will admit, though, and I'm a little disappointed in, the previous bag that I had the bungee cord up here on top where you could stuff stuff in there and keep it retained, and they don't have that. I was a little disappointed in that, but hey, I guess they're trying to cut corners. Who knows? But in the end, this particular bag, and we can get a shot here, is not your typical blind bag. Okay, typically a blind bag is going to be just the big square with your shoulder strap, generally pretty bulky. They obviously work, and if you're not carrying decoys around like I do, you know, literally like 90% of the time on my back, although I'm getting old, and that decoy bag felt pretty heavy a couple of days ago when I was loading it all up. I've always got a bag on my hip, okay? I can't use a backpack, but if I could, that would be the bag I would use, would be a backpack, because it just makes it easier to carry all of our stuff, and we'll get to what's in this thing here in a second. But that's how I would prefer to carry my gear. I just can't. So I need a blind bag that I can actually get on my shoulder and keep it on my side, because it's going to stay right here, and then I've got my decoy bag on the back. Now, I use a very specific decoy bag. It's relatively narrow, 24 decoys and a spinner. That's all I carry. And again, when you get old, you'd think a couple dozen decoys isn't that heavy, but it does seem to get heavy. We'll find out how today goes. We'll see if I need it. But I can get all that on me, right, and still have my bag on my hip, rather than it being hugely bulky on this side, which makes it uncomfortable to walk with. It's just all on the side. It's super nice. Now, those days that I don't have to carry a decoy bag around, you just throw it over your shoulder, and it just rests on your back perfectly. And it does have a belt strap here that I just have tucked in that you can strap it around your waist if you wish to. But in the end, out of all the decoy bags that I've had over the years, and doing the exact same system that I've done forever, I've always needed that bag on my side. This is the best one that I've ever come across. And I liked it enough to where I bought a second one. Now, typically, if, like a lot of us, I guess, you'd go from one bag to the next and keep trying to find one. This one certainly works perfect for me, and it's just easy to get off. What do I have in this thing? A lot. And I try to focus on weight, right? Because again, there's a lot of places that we're walking in with our decoys on our back, and we're walking a mile in, mile out, and hopefully you're coming out heavy, meaning a limit of mallards, or this time of year, a limit of whatever you might get to cooperate with you. But what I keep in here, in the main pouch, I leave pretty much wide open, because I want to be able to put other stuff in here. Like if I'm going to carry a small jacket or something, and I want to be able to get it into the bag. Only thing I really keep in here, other than the calls, of course, a couple of boxes of ammo, and then on the inside, that's basically it. I always carry a pair of gloves around. If you remember Years and years ago, when I had hurt my thumb, it was because I did not have a pair of gloves on. I will never build a blind again without gloves on. They go with me everywhere. It doesn't matter what time of the year is. And that's all I really carry on the inside. Ammo, and then I leave enough room to where I can get other gear in there if I need to. One of the things that you have to have, though, and never leaves the bag, is a headlamp, mandatory. You just have to have it. You just don't know when things are going to go. Get dark on you when you're coming out, or if you're going out in the morning. And I carry a wood duck call, especially for early season, and I have my goose call that's stashed in here as well. I don't carry them on my lanyard anymore because I typically don't hunt geese, and I don't keep my wood duck call on my lanyard because that's just a bird of opportunity. What I keep on my call or on my lanyard is very simple, just a couple of whistles, one for the dog, couple for birds, and then of course my duck call. I just don't need to have all that on there all the time, so I keep it in my bag. Along with that, the number one piece of the puzzle, especially if you're like me, you hunt public land exclusively, you have to have a good pair of cutters. And I have never had another better pair. These are the Owin. They're the ratcheting clippers, and they work phenomenal. I mean, I don't even know how old these are. These are several years old, and they still work fantastic. It's a piece of the puzzle that I have to have, along with a multi-tool. Problem is, I can't find mine. I don't even know where the heck it is. I couldn't find it last night when I was putting everything together, but this is one of those things that never, ever leaves the bag, because you all know, you get to that, it doesn't matter if it's an established blind or a blind that you've got to build, having those clippers just makes a huge difference, and there's a saw in the handle of that as well. Other thing that I make sure that I have everywhere I go is a tree hook. This one is just kind of one of the goofy ones, but you absolutely have to have it, mainly because if you're going to be hunting in the trees like I prefer to do, you're just putting this into a tree so you can hang your gun, hang your bag, whatever it is, to keep it out of the way. But it's another one that I absolutely have to have in my bag at all times. And another nice part about this bag is it's got two boxes, two pockets, I guess, that are on the outside, on the sides, and you can put drinks in there, extra ammo, whatever you needed to put, and it keeps it pretty tight, so it's not bouncing all over the place when you're walking, which for me is important because I'm trying to keep that weight down and be able to waddle out. It sucks getting old. Waddle out to some of the spots comfortably. So there you go. It's and of course, my duck strap, which is mandatory, right? Like I said, if you walk all the way into a spot and then you're lucky enough to have a good day, you want to be able to carry them out comfortably. So those are all the pieces of the puzzle that at least I have to have. Some people go crazy. They've got more stuff inside their blind bag than you would ever need, and that's fine. It's better to have something and not need it than need it and not have it, right? I just kind of narrowed everything down. The only thing I'm missing, like I said, is that multi-tool. The pliers and knives and all that stuff. You just never know when you need those. It might be in the Chevy. I'll have to look. But at the very least, there you go. That's your Chevy Silverado Tech Tip of the week. I guess it really falls down to find yourself a blind bag that's going to work for you and what it is that you do on the daily when you're hunting, and just make it work for you. Don't be uncomfortable if you don't have to be uncomfortable. All right, let's go to a break. When we come back, we're going to have a behind-the-scenes clip from Kershaw. It was one of the most impressive things that I learned when we went over there to do some filming, is that you can literally just walk right up. It's got its own door, warranty and all that. Just walk right up, hand it to them. You can either wait for it to get done or forget it. I'll let the clip do the story. We'll be back with that in just a minute.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.